All right, everyone. Civil war heats up between the Bernie Bros and the Elizabethwarren pinheads over a Salon article listing them both as progressive candidates and talking about how this is some great thing. Like, Trump must be worried. He has to deal with not just one progressive, but two of them. Again, Elizabeth Warren is not on the left. She is not a progressive. She has no plans whatsoever to implement most of what she's talking about in her agenda. The idea of her Medicare for all bullshit being anything other than Bernie Sanders' healthcare program, repackaged under a new name, minus the term socialism and the baggage of being a geriatric, dynastic white dude, that's literally all she's got. That's her selling point. Name some progressive policies that Elizabeth Warren championed before maybe the early stages of the 2015 era when that election just began heating up a little bit. Name some progressive policies. I'll wait 1,000 years. There aren't that many to talk about. In fact, she literally at one point was a Republican. There's another person, by the way, who followed this general trend, dresses similarly, speaks similarly, has similar baggage issues, among other things, and acts similarly in regards to other people when questioned. Oh, that's right, it's Hillary Clinton. I hate to draw the comparison because Elizabeth Warren fans hate it when you compare their furor to Hillary Clinton, but she's Hillary Clinton 2.0. Hillary Clinton was once a Goldwater Republican. She met Bubba Bill, and he convinced her that if they joined the Democratic Party, things would be better for their electoral chances. And that's really what it boiled down to. Let's pander to minority voters down here in Arkansas, get the gubernatorial run. Yay, we got it. Now we're off to the presidency because here's this young, relatively suave person who has at least really good strategic capabilities. And he's got this attack dog wife who, from behind the scenes, will make sure that anything that Bill does is completely, the trail is covered, don't worry. If there's one good thing to be said about Hillary Clinton, she's definitely a stand-by-her-man type. I'm sure that she also throws plates at his head on a regular basis because he does dumb shit, but she's really the brains behind the Clintons anyway. The problem is that the optics of Hillary Clinton are terrible, so if she's operating from behind the scenes, A-okay. If she's the one in the scene, a little bit less so. Bubba Bill can't exactly help her. All he can do is be dead weight. She has to shove him to the side, and he's notably absent on the stage. It was funny. People used to fawn over how good a speaker he was. Now he's less so, relatively speaking. They took him off the McDonald's diet and made him lose 100 fucking pounds, and they're expecting him to still have the same energy he did back in the 90s. Give the man a goddamn hamburger at this point. As far as Elizabeth Warren goes, though, I can't think of anything she's stressing that's, further left than Bernie or any of the others anyway. The only thing is she's further left on guns, which means that she hates the Second Amendment. And the problem for her is that even if she wins in the primaries, she's gone so far to the left she's become unelectable in a general election. She's Bernie Sanders, but with even arguably in some cases worse optics because she's not honest enough to express the fact that that platform she stole 90% from him is socialism. He's been proclaiming that loud and proud since the 1970s. He's not ashamed of it. At least he's honest. Crazy, but honest. I would prefer a crazy and honest person to a person who pretends to be crazy for opportunistic reasons, is technically sane, but is a total cutthroat bitch. That's basically what Elizabeth Warren boils down to. Again, we've seen what happens when that kind of person campaigns against Trump. It doesn't work well for them. Because the Rust Belt abandons them. I wonder why. Oh, you mean that those middle and working class voters somewhere in small town Michigan or Ohio don't want to foot the bill for 10 million people's health care? She has literally expressed that she wants to subsidize through taxpayer funds the health care of illegals under her program. So if somebody comes across the border illegally, flaunting our laws, and she, by the way, she doesn't believe in even deporting them. She wants to decriminalize that too. She then wants to pay for those individuals' social programs, education, healthcare, and stuff. I like to think that I'm a merciful individual and that I'm somewhat gregarious when it comes to people of other cultures. I'm not an ethno-nationalist or anything. But come on, at some point you've got to say, what the hell are these people fucking talking about? Come on in, every comer. We want the tired and poor, and they'll mostly be very tired and very poor when they get here. By the way, once you do, we are going to give you handouts. Do you not think that any person in Latin America, in the out-of-work sectors of their society, and because of socialism, there are a lot of people out of work in Latin America. Don't you think that every single one of them would make that journey? I can go there. They're talking about basically de facto amnesty, free healthcare, free childcare, free education, a pathway to residency, even if I don't sign the papers at the border. Free everything. I can get a job. I can get a driver's license. I can work under the table and they won't harass me. They certainly don't want E-Verify. By the way, I do oppose E-Verify. There are better ways to solve it. They want to tear the border down. They might as well build a high-speed train that stretches from the middle of Argentina all the way up the fucking spine of the continent, because at that point, just say, we're just going to subsidize that too. We'll have 10 trainloads of people in every single day. We'll grab 100,000 people every single day till we've got everyone on the continent that wants to be here. Okay, so now our population's 1 billion, and we got 100 million people actually paying taxes. It totally won't harm society, everyone. It's not untenable. But that's Bernie Sanders' plan. Elizabethwarren doesn't actually want to do these things. She's pandering. She's pretending to be progressive. How that's progress, I don't understand. No, she's just pretending, but that makes her even worse. Bernie Sanders may be insane. He has an insane proposal to make. His policies are nuts. But he's honest enough to be upfront to tell the American people that he's crazy. Elizabethwarren does it, but she slaps lipstick on the pig and pretends to be sane. I'm not a socialist, I'm just a progressive. Oh, there's a little bit of a difference. Crazy Bernie over there, he's nuts, but I'm not. She's been doing this since before the last election's results came in. I said, in 2015, if there was somebody to watch, it was Warren, that you would see her steadily trying to toe that line. She's trying to make herself the missing link between the left and the centrists within the business Dems, people like that Trump has done very well with. She's trying to do that so that she can hold together the coalition that the DNC is incapable of holding together. The DNC is schisming right now. The business Dems are pissed at the fact that the party has gone off the cliff of far leftism. The far leftists are sad about the fact that Biden exists and the DNC is run by people like Nancy Pelosi who fundamentally aren't progressive in the way that they want them to be progressive. They're losing both spheres of support. Warren is the only one successfully attempting to glue them together. Don't think it's going to work, though, any more than with the DNC, because people like the Bernie bros, when they realize that Bernie's going to get schlonged again, when they get demoralized, which I believe will happen, they are going to lash out so hard at her. If they feel that she has gotten in his way by being a fake progressive, they will hammer her 10 times harder, and it will almost inevitably lead to Biden being nominated when they flock to him in a protest vote. It'll be hilarious. You're going to see a bunch of Bernie Sanders fans nominate Joe Biden, who will go on to lose in 2020 in a landslide leading to Trump's re-election. This is probably the best case scenario, by the way, for the Democratic Party, because what will happen, I keep trying to warn liberals of this. Punish the party. Do what the Republicans did with low turnout in the past. They forced a schismatic change within the Republican Party that led to them winning the 2016 election by trying somebody who was essentially a change candidate. You're not going to get that with Elizabethwarren. You will lose. You're certainly not going to be able to get Bernie Sanders, I think, nominated. He is too old and has health issues. Even if you agree completely with his policies, even if you are in self-avowed socialist, the Democratic Party is not the actual home of socialism. It's the home of people who will pay lip service to it. You've got one candidate there who's an authentic far leftist and has been consistently. I would never vote for him. I would never support him. But if you do, you must punish the Democrats who will cheat him. They are not going to allow, I think, Bernie Sanders to be their nominee. By the way, he's never risen above third place. Where's the viability? When's his breakout moment going to happen? It's not going to. He's been selling the same thing for 50 years, and Americans have consistently rejected it outside of a few of these little lily-white liberal college communities in his home state of Vermont, which happens to be, by the way, where I'm from. And people who aren't from Vermont, who are hippie-trippy socialists, like, I hated it when out-of-staters would come with fucking dreadlocks and their skateboards and dude weed mentality from the West Coast in Vermont and expect to fit in with Vermonters. They're like, ooh, man, this is so great. Let's get some Ben and Jerry's. Leave the UVM campus. Leave downtown Burlington. Leave your ski resorts and your timeshares. Go off into the Appalachian foothills of Vermont and tell me what you see. People whose homes are trailers stapled together. People with de facto dirt floors in their basement and so forth. That's what you see. You see overwhelming amounts of poverty and overwhelming social problems that are not addressed by the government of the state of Vermont because it's run by people who come from a handful of urban enclaves and pander the same 55% of the voting bloc every year after year. That's why. Vermont has problems. Great state. I love being in Vermont, but the high tax, high spending mentality has left a lot of people behind. That's just the way that it is. The spirit of rural Vermont's all but dead already. The only farms that exist there, for the most part, are basically tourist farms, or they exist along the main corridor so that the tourists, when they're going between Rutland and Burlington, they can stop in to take a leak and get some totally organic apple cider or a pumpkin or some shit. More power to them if they can make a buck and keep those farms operating. There's like 3 of them around where I live. I think it's great. Farms are the best. I mean, come on. Elizabethwarren's no progressive. She doesn't believe in any of this shit. She's just grifting off Bernie Sanders. I feel sympathy at this point for the Bernie bros for the fact that he's the one that's actually in behind her. She should be in 3rd place. She shouldn't even be running, actually. She's basically ineligible because she's gone so far out there. She's not going to win a general. The Democrats are nuts if they think these people can hold a candle to Trump. You've gone so far left that you've convinced yourself that the average American has pink hair and a paws tattoo and crazy and thinks Obama's a centrist and stuff like that. That's not the way the average American works. You're going to lose in a spectacular fashion. By the way, I don't relish this fact. Yes, I'm going to back Trump's re-election bid, but I'm not a Republican and I'm not a conservative. I want a Democratic Party that is worth considering voting for. I haven't had it in a while. I voted for Obama in 2008 because it seemed, hey, his message is decent. He seems sane, which is something we hadn't had in a while, but he sold out. He did exactly what Warren, by the way, will do, which is he'll fuck his fans in the ass. He'll completely turn his back on the principles that he's espoused because they're just election fodder. Elizabethwarren wants to be in power. She'll say whatever she wants to get it. If you're going to go for somebody who claims to be an out-of-touch socialist, at least choose the authentic one. That's about all. Peace out.